What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How are you beautiful people doing? Another Saturday evening hanging out with the crew here at the shop. We got another fantastic guest, and as you guys can see by the title of the podcast, man, we talking everything about that Microsoft Xbox partner preview, the games they show, just everything about the show, man. We're gonna have a whole lot of fun. So shout out to everybody in chat. Once again, retweet the link, let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. I appreciate all you guys who show love on Twitter and everybody watching the replay later on. But let me go ahead and get to our guest, man. It's been a little bit since you've been on, but what's up, 3-Bit? How you doing, Mr. Pixelated Echoes himself? I did hear you had a bit of a Ghostbuster problem. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's going on.
Fake news.
Fake news. Got it. Okay,
he's just trying to get a little clout, a little attention. That Gen Z.
Look at Pong. He's ruining my clout chasing.
Got it.
Hello everybody. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on here. But it's always great to be on the show. Appreciate the invite, man. Yeah, I am dealing with a Ghostbuster problem. So if you guys know where I can find the Ghostbusters in Georgia, because I know they're in New York, appreciate it. Would definitely appreciate it. It's definitely weird. It was happening a lot more today. Like it disconnects my webcam, my mic, and my keyboard only in the morning. So I guess it's some radio show frequency thing. Yeah. I had a little bit when I moved in. But it's been picking up a lot more since October, I guess. But besides that, I've been in Starfield land. I've been loving Starfield lately. I beat the game and now I am in the DLC. I've been checking out the DLC and the world that is in the DLC, like the lighting and everything. Is like they really seem to amp it up. Like I feel like I don't want to really leave the planet that DLC is on. it's just crazy beautiful, and yeah, so I haven't been wanting to play another game besides Starfield, so I'm just playing that. But other than that, glad to be on the show, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Oh yeah, appreciate you being here. Now, don't worry, I'll look into that Ghostbuster thing for you. I think I know somebody that knows somebody that might have a number for you, brother. So
thank you.
We'll keep an eye out. But shout out to you being here, man. Mr. Pixelated Echoes himself, man. We got both halves here today, so shout out to you guys. All that information down in the description. You guys know what to do. Go follow 3-Bit, man. Good guy, man. Great gamer. Puts on a great show. Great host as well. So shout out to you for being here, 3-Bit. Appreciate you, brother, man. So let me throw this over to my two right-hand, man. My brothers, my real-life brothers, man. Shout out to you. What's up, Pong? How you doing? What's been up with you, bro? I've been checking your timeline, too. I know what you've been playing. You've been playing a whole lot of that Steam Fest, a lot of those games. Yeah.
It's great to be here, and ultra rare occurrence where I get to have two shows with 3-Bit in a week, man. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, right.
That's nuts. Never happens anymore. Yeah, great to have 3-Bit here. Thanks, brother, for giving us your time tonight and showing up, man. And great to be obviously back with you, Blam, and of course Fuzzy as well. Been doing a lot. I could sit here and talk about Diablo and Vessel of Hatred, which I am rocking out on. I'm up to level 50 now, taking my time with it and having a blast. Really like some of the changes that they've done. There is some issues, but overall, I'm back into my Diablo bag, so having a good time. But yeah, what I'll talk about here is two games from Steam Next Fest, and both of these games are going to be coming to console and PC. So it's not just a PC thing, but both of them I'm sure many people have heard of. The first one, I got the demo today. Been playing a lot of demos. I got like 25 demos downloaded. So I've been playing a lot of demos. But the first one I jumped into today that I had not touched yet was The Precinct. And this is a game that me and Fuzzy have been pushing. Tweeted it out a lot. I think we've talked about it once or twice here, mentioned it. This is the cop game in which it is a top-down kind of three-quarters view. Fun, just 80s style, like it is set in the 80s, indie game in which you are the cops, kind of like Grand Theft Auto in a way, but you are the cops this time around. And this has been getting a lot of wish lists. The dev has been doing a really good job promoting it. It was already supposed to be out. I think I have it. They still aiming for this year, but I don't know. I'll let Fuzz talk about it too if he's got any insight. But I think they are probably shooting next year at this point, but maybe they'll still squeeze it out this year. But anyways, they got a short demo on Next Fest, and I played it, and my God, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. They give you, it's a very short demo. So they just give you kind of an intro. They kind of let you get a feel for the different scenarios that you're going to be in, but you could tell there's a whole lot more to it. But I got to fly a helicopter, chase down a dude in a helicopter, got to drive the police car around with the sirens on, and tag some bank robbers. So that was fun. Got to go around on foot, patrol, and give parking tickets out and that kind of stuff. It is freaking fun. Again, as an indie game, the graphics too are clean as shit. I can't believe how nice they look. So if you are like want that 80s vibe kind of cop scenario, go check out the Precinct. And then, like I said, it is coming to console and as well PC. And I got to say, the driving controls feel really good, actually. I was impressed for an indie game. That was really cool.
I've seen that game come across my feed a couple of times. I wasn't quite sure what it was. Yeah, I've seen it, and I was like, that looks very interesting. Definitely reminds me of OG GTA, the GTA 1.
It is, but it's the shooting is cool. Everything's really dope about it. You got different weapons. It's just cool, man. It's just a really cool vibe. And again, for an indie game, that's what you look for. So I really am digging that. That'll be day one when it shows up for sure for me. And then the game that I just was late almost to the show because I've been playing it, and I posted it a little bit earlier. Yeah, Empire of the Ants, man. This game I've been putting off trying to demo because this was already high on my wish list. Like I talked about this the first time we saw it, right? I know Jez has put out a couple tweets. I know Jez got an early preview of it, I think a few months ago, and he said that, he hinted that it was going to be high on his list. This is a strategy game in which you are an ant. And you are I forget what number ant you are, but you are a numbered ant. They have a full campaign mode. You actually talk to other ants and other bugs, which is very strange, but it's cool. But awesome, this is photorealistic type graphics in this game. And it gives you the perspective of being an ant. Ants are one of my favorite insects. So I'm already halfway there, but then you tell me that you're going to throw in RTS mechanics, and that's what I was just doing. I was just attacking a termite colony, and I had like these super beetles with me. I created these beetles that are kind of like my tank force, super force, and then I had gunners, these ants that spit acid, and then I had my regular army ants too, and we were having a massive battle because these termites just kept sending groups and groups after me, and I was trying to hold down this nest. So it's got the RTS mechanics, and it's got this whole campaign story mechanic to it, but just walking around in this world from an ant's view, and you can climb up on plants just like you think you can. The camera can get a little wonky when you're kind of, flip around on the other side, but it sticks to it. You just got to kind of get back control again, but otherwise it feels like you're a freaking ant. It is just awesome, man. So I was just fooling around with that for the past few hours here, having an absolute blast. And that again that's launching November 7th. So right around the corner. It's coming to console, it's coming to PC. And I gotta say, for an RTS, the controller mechanics, I'm playing on controller, they nailed it. It works. It is super refined. It is super intuitive. This team did a nice job. So I got to give my hats off to them. And again, the name of the dev team is Tower 5 Studios, and it's being published by Microid. So go check out Empire of the Ants if you're looking for a strategy game and you like insects. Man, this game is dope. Dude, they got the Fuzzy, I don't know if you played the demo yet, but you're on the ground, right? So everything's big, right? Obviously. But they got the bumblebees and the wasps flying overhead, and they sound exactly like you think they're going to sound, man. When they come buzzing by you, it is so freaking awesome in the headphones, man. Just all the atmosphere. This game is just oozing it. So go check those out.
Awesome. Is this like their first big game? Or
Tower 5 is a good question. They are, I think.
Oh.
I
thought that was me.
Yeah, I thought that was you too.
I was like,
looks like Okay, so I'm not entirely
The
sure what
aliens
happened.
got to
Pong
him.
Yeah,
has
I know they
Goku
got
now.
him too. I know, right? Holy moly! So yeah, we'll figure. I don't know, Pong. If you can hear us, your mic cut out, brother. So you might have to look into that. But just to continue on, that was Pong. So that was your advertisement. And go check those games out. I'm sure the audio will be back here soon. I'm sure he'll fix that and get that ready to go. But let me throw this over to my other brother, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. How you doing, Fuzz? What you been up to? What you been playing, brother?
I've been up to a lot of different stuff. Like went to oh man, I forget what convention it was last week, but no, we went to Crystal Lake last week. The original Friday the 13th location type of deal. But no, today we did a haunted house in my local area. Did the haunted hayride stuff. That was pretty cool. But as far as gaming, I've been bouncing around, still playing Starfield, but on my sci-fi kick. Like I've put zombies down for a bit, so State of Decay 2 is on hold at the moment. But I also started. I guess I had to restart my Outer Worlds playthrough because I played it on console, but apparently that your save doesn't carry over to PC. Unfortunately, I guess Private Division didn't make it, a play anywhere title type of deal. But having fun with that, but still loving the heck out of Starfield. Just the only problem I have with Starfield is I wind up trying to do a mission and then I get lulled into either building a base or refining my
It's a good
starship,
problem to have, Fuzz.
or just messing around with the I want to call them the eclectic, but they're not called I forget what that one faction is, but it's like always getting into ship battles with them and then boarding their ship and then wiping them out and then deciding if I want to take their ship or not, type of thing. But yeah, it's Starfield is that game that I see myself playing for 10 years kind of thing. Like I
Awesome.
can't get into Elder Scrolls quite like that, but Starfield being sci-fi.
You never know with this next one though, Fuzz. You might
True.
might get into it. You never know.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I wasn't really into Fallout 4 when it originally launched, but I kind of after playing as much Starfield, it feels a lot better playing Fallout 4 now than it did when I played it at launch type of thing. And I'm pretty sure they made some updates, but it didn't feel quite like the RPG I was expecting at the time, way back. What was that, like 2016 or something? But yeah, Starfield, I'm hoping that they continue this trend. Like they said that, they're going to do like annual expansions and things like that. And I look forward to that stuff. And then I got my usual games that I'm playing. Forza Horizon 5. I'm still on my 800 plus car collection deal. I'm not buying any of the additional DLC cars just yet until they have like a big holiday sale or something. But still enjoying that, doing my daily rewards and stuff for it. And then I got to do a brief summary on my disappointment with Undisputed with its full launch. Like,
oh wow, that's actually surprising.
Yeah, because it's weird. It felt better when it was in preview. Yeah, when it was in beta than it does now. Now it looks better. They've refined a lot of stuff. The boxers look better, the outfits look better, the rings, the audience looks better, and everything like that. But it feels like Rock'em Sock'em Robots now in comparison to what it felt like before. Like you punch somebody, if you're fast enough with your combos, you could. It's almost like a speed bag type of thing where you could just have them bouncing off of your fists constantly with just throwing a couple of quick combos. So it feels like they've taken a step back and made it a little bit more arcadey, which I guess maybe that's to cater to the newer player base that's hopping in from console and stuff. But
yeah,
it felt so much better when you would like slip a punch, do like a quarter dodge to the left or right or something like that, and then come back with a power punch or a cross or something like that. And you just can't, it doesn't feel like you can do that as effectively. And then it makes it where some of the punches that should barely connect feel like they land a lot harder, which it seems like they went in the opposite direction. Like you don't want the glazing punch or the one that just barely missed, that almost misses, to knock the person out. I mean, unless it's like they were leaning into it kind of thing. But it just feels like they need to refine it back to some of the stuff in the beta. The stances, the overall look, I'm very happy with, but the the mechanics as far as the punching, especially when you're used to slipping or dodging and stuff like that. It just feels like they've taken a step back. So that's the only complaint I have right now, but we'll see when they do, subsequent updates, and I'm looking forward to them releasing hopefully some more, packs of boxers and things like that. I expect that that's going to be a DLC train that they could probably run for the next few years.
Definitely.
And it's funny, like in our DMs, Pong pointed out, the rumors now is that EA is looking into it again.
Yeah.
It's
You called that a minute.
You already
ago.
know. I think we said that maybe a year or 2 years ago. We might have mentioned that all it takes. Matter of fact, before Undisputed even was a thing, we talked about this right here on the Shop Podcast. That all it's gonna require is someone else taking that leap and actually being able to invest and get other like real boxing and boxing names. Once that happens, and EA realizes people still want this game, then they're gonna take the liberty of saying, okay, well, we're working on it, or we got something, whip it up for you guys. So
the minute this thing was announced, when I think it was called ESC Boxing or something
like
that.
ESBC Boxing or something like that.
Yeah, that was the time. It was like, yep, EA is going to do like they did with Callisto Protocol and do Deep Space or something like that. So, but kudos to those guys for releasing it. Hopefully they make some minor tweaks to kind of have a better balance as far as for slipping punches and stuff like that. But other than that, just enjoying gaming in general and looking at some of the craziness on Twitter where
gotta love it.
I'm concerned about, this Game Pass and Call of Duty stuff and what it could mean. It's like, did anybody care what Activision was going through when Call of Duty was releasing any other year? I don't remember seeing anybody concerned that, sure, they were selling the copies. It wasn't in the subscription, but why do we care? Just play the damn game and worry about the company. Like, if I could see if you're invested in the company, but the way Microsoft is structured, even if Xbox were to go away, them shares are going to stay in the 400s for a good bit. So I ain't worried, but it is what it is. But people with their concern and not on their preferred platform, always the platform that they want to go away. So, but we'll get into it.
Interesting. We'll get into it, man. So just kind of let me get my bars off here. I just been playing a bunch of Diablo, man. The DLC, Vessel of Hatred, loving all the changes. I am max level at this point. I think I need to go ahead and just bump it up to Torment level 1 because I need to get those unique.
I remember just prior to Diablo coming out, I remember you was debating like getting it. Come on, man. We're like, yeah, play it.
Yeah. No facts, but I'm really enjoying it. Spiritborn class is good. I'm really enjoying it. So can't wait to get into some of the other classes and try those since all the changes have been made. Some of the other changes, but that's pretty much all I've been playing outside of a couple other small games like Army of Ruin. It's a game I always jump into. Just a bullet heaven game. Essentially, just you collect things, get power ups, unlock stuff, unlock levels, gear, items, things like that. So I jump into that and I play for an hour or two at a time. Really easy to get into, but that's pretty much what I've been playing, man. But let's go ahead and just get into the topic. And shout out to Pong. He will be back. The man internet cut out on him, so he said he'll be back when his internet is. So hopefully they get that back up and running so he can get back in here. But shout out to Pong. Hopefully he can come back through. And shout out to YouTube Blue, Solid White, and Chad. Appreciate you guys. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. We're here today talking about the Xbox Partner Showcase, man. It just went down this past Thursday, and my for a showcase that we didn't really know existed until maybe a week or two before the actual showcase. It was very last minute. I hadn't heard anything about it, not in my DMs or my timeline. I think maybe a week prior, Jez tweeted something about a show. I think maybe him or Tom Warner tweeted something that Xbox is probably going to be doing a show like next week or something along those lines. And it was very, very, very close to the actual showcase. So, it was amazing. It was a great show. Way better than what I expected. I didn't really have any expectations. Fuzz 3-bit, I didn't really have any, and it was really, really, really good. And I'm a big proponent of variety. I always give extra points for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys get your bars off here. Just we'll get into some specifics, but just overall thoughts on the show. And mind you, we got to give Xbox kudos. Shout out to Tina Amini and her team. She's really the MVP for Xbox at this point for me. Probably the single greatest hire after Phil Spencer. She's had a huge impact on every showcase they've shown up to this year, has been elevated to a level that the previous years that we did not see. We're getting more showcases that we've asked for. Like, hey, you guys got all these studios, these games, just by numbers, you guys need more shows to have, to show these games at, and they're doing that. Not only are they doing that, it's the way they're showing them. The type of games they're showing, like, it's no fluff. We're getting to the games. We're going to get you guys excited about what we have going forward. So kudos to her and her team. Kudos to, everybody at Xbox for putting on this phenomenal preview showcase. But let's get in. You want to start with our guest 3-Bit here, man. I know you've talked about this show a couple times throughout this week. Shout out to FSP. But what do you think? Just one, going by the logic that we didn't really know anything about this showcase even happening, 3-Bit.
Yeah, I didn't have like huge expectations for this show, or even like really know. I was like, oh, like cool, like anytime Xbox does a show, the way I see it, it's like definitely an addition. Like you have their big show, right? The E3 type show, and where they pull up all the stops, and then everything else is just like icing on the cake. Because when you just compare it to other brands, they are definitely leading the charge in terms of showcases and like how to present. I was luckily a part of the team with Tina Amini doing that first preview showcase, and they really think about like how to best present the games to people. Like
she is a
like
genius. She is a genius, bro. Yeah.
Props
where was she at prior to? Wasn't she at
She was IGN,
Netflix? Was it IGN? I'm sorry. It was IGN?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure she was at IGN before.
Yeah, okay.
And she was running like IGN used to do like these really short things with like who's the girl from who's now writing on God of War? I can't remember her name.
Charlander. I forget her name.
Alana. There you go.
Alana Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was a time where IGN used to do like these really short kind of clips, like here's the game of the week and stuff, and people used to really watch it a lot. And I remember Tina kind of being a part of that team, and then she was definitely a part of the team where she was like, there'd be like a showcase and she would talk about it afterwards, and then she went more into the production side of things. And yeah, she was a great hire for Xbox, and it really does show in these showcases. Like dang, they know how to pull up all the stops. Like you have Sony kind of like their main showcases are now basically these partner previews, right? Like that's their main show where they basically have all these third party
at least games. The last 2 years or so has this been that way, I would say.
At least two or so years. So like this showcase, I thought it was like really good. There was a lot of unexpected games in there. Like when I went into it, I was like, oh, okay, it might have some small games or something in there. But a lot of the stuff that they showed, it appealed to me. Like
Same.
I love the Yakuza franchise. I was joking on FSP. I'm like, watch this be better. Watch the Yakuza pirate game be better than Ubisoft's interpretation.
Skull and Bones. Holy moly! Wow.
Yeah, which will be hilarious. Like the thing I love about Yakuza games is it's like a bunch of mini games inside of one game. Like you could get lost in a Yakuza game and just like gamble. Or
I don't know why. I may be way off both 3-Bit. It reminds me of Roblox for some reason. Like it just has this Roblox. Like I mean, as far as like the type of fun, like this just this silly fun. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why. I don't know why I made that connection.
Yeah, maybe it's because like Roblox doesn't take itself too seriously. People like kind of just jump into it with that mindset. Yeah, I could see that. Like Yakuza has a mindset where it's just like it's just dumb fun. Like you can take this story seriously if you want, but like it does have like some great storytelling for sure. But you can also just like the whole game, just like try and go to the claw machines and try to get the best toy in there, which I've definitely done. So it was cool seeing Yakuza there. It was cool seeing Chronos. Like who knew Bloober Team was working on another game?
Cooking.
Yeah, they're cooking
coming off that Silent Hill.
Yeah, which was surprising for a lot of people. Like as soon as Silent Hill came out, it was just like wow, you know, a lot of people really liked it. But yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying people didn't believe in Bloober Team after the Medium. People thought that they weren't a very good dev studio. You know, I heard a lot of people talking crazy, you know, but they really redeemed themselves with Silent Hill 2, and looks like this is just another feather in the cap 3-bit. But go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Bloober Team is interesting to me because they seem to be pumping out content. Like, something I'll give them credit for is, like, you know, they tend to have a team that is ambitious and they love what they do. Sometimes they don't always have the budget to do what they want to do, but they still they're like, hey, we're gonna finish this game. So, you know, I'm giving props to them for sure. With Silent Hill, a lot of people doubted them. I was one of them. I'm like, I'm not liking what I'm seeing with that early footage.
The early footage, it wasn't good, man. It wasn't good.
Yeah, but they definitely they use that as fuel. They're like, okay, 3-bit, watch this, and from the early previews to like what it is now, they've definitely improved a lot. So shout out to that team. Alan Wake. I'm just a fan of Remedy, so that was cool to see that there. This is like a lot of cool surprises for me. That games I'm just interested in. Like, who knew Remedy was working on a like a co-op multiplayer,
a shooter, game. Right? A shooter
Yeah.
At that. It's crazy. Like that, and that's the big thing for me going into the showcase, and that's why I asked you the question the way I did it, because it really was like left field. We didn't even know. I didn't have time to really sit and think about it. And so I didn't have really any expectations, and it actually blew me away. The amount of variety from, you know, smaller indie games to, you know, larger games such as the Remedy game, you know, such as the Alan Wake DLC, you know what I mean, such as the Yakuza game. It really had something there for everybody, 3-bit. And I love the fact that they just continue to highlight developers, and they continue to highlight developers in different areas too. They had a couple, you know, games there from different developers in different countries. You always like to see that as well too. That's been a recurring theme with these showcases, 3-bit. I don't know if you caught on at that.
Yeah, I mean, I also seen articles that say like, wow, a lot of these games are like, you had people questioning like, are these games on PlayStation? Like, which is such a weird thing, right? But like, it's cool. You know, Xbox is fostering these partnerships. I see that they're really trying with the Japanese market as well.
Southeast Asia specifically,
yeah. So glad to see that they're making investments in their third party. Like for years, right? Sony would dominate a lot of third party. Like, imagine like 4 or 5 years ago, where Yakuza was thought to never be on the Xbox platform.
Yep.
You know?
Same thing with Persona.
Yeah, Persona too. And now we're at a stage where in Xbox history where Metaphor is being mainly marketed by Xbox, or Yakuza is showing up in so many different shows on Xbox's floor. Actually, it's really just cool to see the progression that, you know, Sony. I mean, we've seen the FTC court cases where Sony has made so many deals, and it really didn't harm the publishers too much to take a deal with Sony, because like, oh, you know, they're the main in the market, why not take this deal? But I think a lot of companies are starting to see how beneficial it could be to show up on an Xbox stage, you know, like Remedy or like a the team at Atlas, and they're starting to see like, wow, we're actually getting more of an audience by spreading games to these different platforms. And Xbox, something they've been known to do lately is like, hey, we have what people like about it is its ecosystem, you know, playing on Xbox, PC, mobile, all that stuff. So definitely cool seeing Firebreak there, and definitely like Phasmophobia. That was one game that Pong was like, nope.
I know. I was going to say, because I know Fuzz going to talk about that one. I know Fuzz going to talk about that one. That's right up his alley. So
yeah, I never played the first one.
Me either.
But I definitely am interested. Or I guess this is the first one coming to console, right? Or is it this? Okay. Yeah, definitely want to play that. It's horror season, so.
So, quick question: what would have been your top 3 games shown at the showcase?
Put
you on the spot, brother.
Dang. Well, Mouse PI I've been looking at for a while.
Oh, so good.
Mm.
Steamboat Willie with a shotgun.
Yeah, I just love that art style.
Yeah.
Actually, I interviewed the developers of Cuphead years ago, and just like that process of like that old timeline with Steamboat Willie and translating that to modern times, like it's just unique looking, and it just appeals to me. It's like style wise and looks fun. So definitely Mouse. Yakuza will probably be the second.
Mm-hmm.
I have to finish up like the other Yakuza games. There's so many games coming out, it's ridiculous. And then actually the third one would probably be Chronos. I'm just interested.
Okay.
It actually I was looking at some gameplay of it actually earlier today. I was like rewatching the show. And it just looks interesting. Like shout out to Blueberry. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so those are probably my top three. It might, if you ask me tomorrow, it might change. I'll be like, oh, well, this one actually. But yeah, off the top of my head, those three probably.
Awesome. Such a great showcase. And that just your excitement and you saying that, and you just like me. You just say you're the same kind of gamer that I am, and I get excited about the variety and just trying things out. So yeah, I mean, they showed a lot of fantastic games. So I'll just go down through the list a little bit here. I'll just kind of get my bars off before I throw it over to you. So just to get my top three out of the way, probably would be, I really enjoyed Eternal Strands. You know, the game that was kind of action adventure with the magic, and you being able to throw stuff and pick it up and throw it and grab stuff and grab the fireball and the lightning, and you had the giants and you was climbing up. It looked reminded me a little bit of Shadow of Colossus a little bit. That looked really good, interesting as well too. So that would probably been there. Obviously Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. That was probably showed the best for me. Although I got to be honest, I do not play Souls-like games, so I do not play. So it's just listen. I'm not into just a game being hard just for the strength of it being hard. No, thank you. But it looked great. So I'm hoping, and I'm gonna ask you guys about. We'll probably like branch off for the Wu Chang thing because I actually have a question about that, and I saw somebody post on Twitter earlier, and I think it's very interesting. But let me finish up here, and then probably the next one is gonna be probably FBC Firebreak, that the Remedy game, man.
Yep.
Super interesting, bro. Just left field. Who knew Remedy was even doing this? And I love when developers step outside of their template, like what they're what they're good at doing. I love when they step outside of it because you get these like very creative moments. It doesn't always work. It is extremely risky, but especially in 2024, right? When games are costing $300 million to make, it's still really cool to see a dev of Remedy's caliber step outside of themselves and do something a little different.
Remedy and Bluebird team.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Apparently are pumping out games.
Yeah.
Who knew that Remedy was working on a multiplayer game right next to their Alan Wake DLC, and then Bluebird right next to Silent Hill too. So props to these teams for checking out on multiple projects.
Yeah, facts. And then another one that looked really interesting too, probably would have been, oh man, what's that other game? I think it. No, not that one. No. Probably. I think it was the Mistfall. What's it called? Mistfall.
Oh, Mistfall
Hunter. That looked very interesting as well too. So once again, just a lot of cool stuff. I'm just really excited. I love the fact that Xbox, they've really carried showcases the last 2 years. If anybody want to be honest, 3-Bit and Puzz, they've had the best showcases the last 2 years, bar none. And they showed up every single showcase this year. They showed up and shown out at. I know some people saying TGS was kind of weak, but if TGS was a weakest showcase, I mean that's a pretty good year. If that was the weakest showcase, it was a pretty goddamn good year. They pretty much carried the year. So once again, shout out to Tina, Amini, and the team. But let me throw this over to you, Fuzz. Just once again, just from the perspective of we didn't really know anything about this showcase, right? Yeah. And usually it's funny because this is Tina's Impact. This would have been a fucking Xbox Wire tweet 2 years ago. This wouldn't even been a showcase, 3-Bit. This would have literally been an article on Xbox.com. Yep. Like, oh, we got these games coming up. Here's some quick footage for each game or a trailer for each game. It wouldn't even been an actual showcase. Yeah. So the fact that they really took the time to bump the not productivity up, but just bump the value of it, just make it an actual showcase, give some production value. Everything's been elevated to a new level. Fuzz.
And there's
Yeah.
probably another one too coming up.
Oh,
Game
what?
Awards. Who
Wait a-
knows? I mean,
Oh, okay.
just,
Oh,
like,
okay.
you know,
okay.
Game Awards. Like,
Oh,
who knows?
yeah.
Thought you was letting the cat out the bag. I got excited for a second.
Like, oh, wait.
Yeah, like wait a minute. Did he slip up? Did he actually slip up this time? I've been waiting on this. Waiting on 3-Bit to slip up, man. Got them banana peels out there, brother, for real. But let me throw this to you, Fuzz. But yeah, bro, like great showcase. But yeah, what do you think overall, bro?
Oh, it was a solid 8.5 in my from my standpoint. Like the big thing is we didn't know about it until like days before. I think, like you said, there were a couple of tweets, maybe Jez, I think Special Nick or something like that made a post about something coming up. And
I kind of blew it off though. I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
kind of blew off the post a little bit. I was like, yeah.
I did the same. So I was like,
Yeah.
when they officially announce it, then I can get a little excited. But for right now, okay, there's a show
Yeah.
coming. I'll look out for it. And I think on Xbox Wire, they made a post about it as well when they confirmed it. And they just, briefly mentioned, okay, Wu
Couple
Shang's going
games.
to be there, Like a Dragon's going to be there, and Alan Wake 2 is going to be there. I'm like, okay. And they said some world premieres. And I'm thinking these world premieres are going to probably be like small things. And I just looked at it as it's icing on the cake. Like they've already had a great year. Like you said, they've had great shows all year round. And even if you want to call the TGS one the weakest one, I'm fine with that. Like there was still stuff in that showcase that has interested me enough to keep an eye out for when it hits Game Pass or when it comes to the Xbox store. So I didn't have any expectations other than I was hoping that maybe we hear something about something like Contraband, or maybe we hear something about a game from IO or something like that. Nothing in particular, but we know that they have tons of projects that they've been working on in the background with a lot of other teams. Maybe one of those shows up. And obviously they had some show up, just not ones that we were even, like you guys said. I knew that Bloober was working on another game. And I remember there was some back and forth before that one was going to be a PlayStation one and one was going to be an Xbox one, but Xbox didn't want to do like a full like exclusive on it or something like that. So I knew there was something coming, but I didn't think it was anywhere near this soon. Like I figured Silent 2 or Silent Hill 2 would be out, and then maybe a year or two later we would hear about what the Bloober thing is. Not like, oh, Silent Hill 2 came out like a couple of weeks ago. Oh, here's another game that we're working on that's coming out next year. Like, what? And for me, that was the highlight of the show. Chronos, just the visuals and the concept of like you're from the future and you have to go into the past to, find these like great minds or either scientists or something, and you're going to have to take their essence back to the future kind of deal. It's so intriguing.
A cool ass concept, man.
Yeah, and the visuals to boot. Like I was one of those that was all happy with Medium, and I would say there was like a slow spot on like the third act, give or take. And that like the last act was probably one of the better aspects of it, as far as like, I think that was the father that had like the fire ability or something like that. So I was like, maybe they'll make a part 2 where it's centered around that or something like that. But I was fine with Medium when it came out, and just to see their progression from things like Blair Witch or The Observer and Layers of Fear. They've definitely stepped it up over the years. Each and every time they make a bigger and better effort in their, the game design, the visuals. And it seems like now they are to the point where I wouldn't say that they're going to be like a top tier kind of thing, but you definitely want to keep an eye out for what they're working on next. And this one,
my expectations for them have definitely gone up. I would say that as far as like anytime they announce a game going forward, I'm definitely going to be, ears perked up for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that, like I said, it was the standout game for me, but there was a lot of ones like, and to be honest, there was no game in this showcase that I was like, yeah, I'm not touching that.
Same.
Like, and I'm not a Souls player, and there's like at least 2 Souls games in this mix. And I'm like, I'm still going to give it a try because I gave Lies of P a try.
It's on Game Pass,
yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's on Game Pass. That one.
What? Which one?
Wu Shang.
Well, yeah, it is. That's a Souls like, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I'm gonna definitely give it a try. Wu Shang. If I get to the point where I'm about ready to break my Elite controller, then I'll put it down. It looks too good of a game that I have to at least give it a try. But
same. I'm gonna do the same.
My other highlight was the Mouse PI for Hire. Like
I've
been so close to pulling the trigger and just buying it on Steam and getting it on my Steam Deck.
You gonna wait?
I'm gonna wait till it comes to console because more than likely, if it's dual, what do you call it, or like a play anywhere? Because it seems like they're getting a lot more third party, especially some of these smaller devs, to make their games play anywhere. Then I get a console and PC copy. So yeah, I'm gonna wait and enjoy that when it comes to the console. But that game it's been on that trigger list for a bit where it's like it's going to do a sale. Are they going to do a sale? I'm gonna pick it up.
And that game actually has more depth to it than I thought. I didn't realize initially I'm thinking it's more of like a roguelike, right? You just kind of go through the levels, shoot stuff, maybe you power up, then you do it all over again with the power ups or with a better understanding of what you're doing. It actually is a story. There's characters, there's NPCs you talk to. You take pictures, you got to solve crimes. Like it actually has like a storyline. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard or catch them by surprise, and it's definitely one that is worth taking a look at, especially if you're a console only player. Definitely keep an eye out for it. But that was one of the highlights, and then like after that, it is like all of them are up for grabs kind of thing. Like Phasmophobia, that one I'm definitely going to give a try. Just the horror concept, it's coming to console. That's going to be awesome for those that like those types of games. As far as the horror genre on console, I mean, there's tons of stuff on PC, but not all of it makes it to the console. Like there's ones where your sound and all that matter, and this is one of those where it's definitely worth giving that a try when it comes to console. So we'll see how that plays out with headsets and things along those lines. But Animal Well was like one of those indie darlings on
platformer.
A lot of people that have Steam Decks or ROG Allies picked it up, and now that it's coming to console, it's awesome to see. The Eternal Strands, like that one that you were mentioning before, where it's like that one that looks more my speed because it's not a Souls like.
Yeah, me too.
So that one definitely is going to get a try type of deal. But Mistfall Hunter, I love the look of it, but I think that's the other Souls-like, and it's like a Souls-like extraction game, which that's an interesting concept, but it sounds like a headache. It's one that I'm going to at least play it until I do get that headache type of deal. And then the FBC Firebreak, like who saw that coming, especially from Remedy like that? I mean, sure, they worked with that other group that did Crossfire X. And we know
they did I think they did did they just do the multiplayer or was it the campaign? They did a campaign, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So they really haven't done anything multiplayer related, but
yeah,
I love the mechanics of a lot of their games. And it looks like you're going to get some of that mixed into this, as well as it being a co-op. Like, like you guys said, it's always great seeing a dev grow out of their comfort zone kind of thing and give things a try. And a lot of times, maybe it may not work, but it's interesting to see that progression. It's interesting to see them try something that's different. That's not your typical, hey, let's make a battle royale or a hero arena shooter kind of thing. No, this is something a little bit different that has that appeal of their weirdness in their games is going to clearly be there when you have nuclear gnomes launchers and things like that. Yeah, I can't wait to see that one. And that also reminds me, Blindfire.
That's another one I was gonna say. we almost nobody mentioned it. We haven't mentioned it yet.
Yeah, like just imagine being in a dark room without having night vision goggles, roaming around shooting that stuff. Like I remember I took the kids to I forget what there's like this local like go-kart track, and they have like a laser tag thing, but it's like night laser tag, and the only thing really showing is like some of the belt that they give you is neon, and then there's some like neon on the walls. And it was funny watching them because as a parent, you could watch like from the not really his seats, but like the upper windows at the top of the little arena that they play in. So it was cool watching them like duck around corners or sometimes almost like bump into the guy that's, trying to peek around the other corner, because it is kind of like a pitch dark laser tag type of thing. This looks like that iteration of that in a video game, where you're going to have to, watch where you cross. Like if you cross a threshold, it has like a little bit of an arch or whatever, and it lights up that you've crossed there, and then it alerts everybody that somebody just did that, so they turn around and shoot at it type of deal. Or you're wearing partial neon, so when you go past a light that's, in a corner somewhere, they might see you. So it's an interesting concept, something that's a little bit different than your typical battle royale and stuff like that. So I hope this one catches fire as far as when people give it a try, just for it being different. I guess there isn't enough kudos to the devs out there, with originality, just trying different things. And this one is definitely that.
No, to be fair, 2024 is kind of the year of originality. Like, how many new IPs have come out and just shat on everything? Look at Black Myth, look at Power World, look at, you know what I mean? Like, look at all these games that have come out that are brand new IPs, new concepts as well. You know what I mean? Or just evolved versions of old concepts and really done well. So this year has been carried by a lot of that whole idea of these new IPs. And this is just another example of that.
Yeah. And as far as the games coming to Game Pass, like we talked about it in the green room just briefly, where it's like you would think Xbox, once they have all these first party studios, firing on all cylinders, maybe they scale back on the third party. They got their first party to kind of fill the subscription coffers and stuff, but rumor has it they're spending like $1 billion on the third party stuff, and we get to see the rewards of that, almost in every week that they announce a new game coming to the service, or day one coming to the service. And we got Wu Shang, which is that one. Yeah, I'm gonna probably try not to break a controller playing. You got the FBC Firebreak that's coming. Mm-hmm. You got Wheel World, which I love the art style. And
it reminded me of that Hinterberg game. You know how that Dungeons and Hinterberg, that art style reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I first
and it's something that's just a cool concept, riding around on bike races and things like that, and you can make all kinds of weird custom bikes and stuff.
I thought it wasn't like a bike RPG almost. It kind of looked a little bit like with the different bikes and things. I don't know if they have like the bikes do different things or they're faster or got stats, but wouldn't that be kind of cool if you like if the bikes had stats and like that?
If Forza Horizon 5 can have stats and other like RPG light items with their cars, why not have a bike racing game have something similar? And then you got Eternal Strands, which is the one that we talked about. That one's coming to Game Pass. And I'll admit, I wasn't really into Subnautica. I mean, it's a great open world exploration, survival-ish kind of game. Now you got Subnautica 2 coming to Game Pass as well, day and date.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in preview. Like, yeah, they're not scaling back on the third party, which I kind of thought maybe that would be what they would do, just for the fact that they got their own stuff now. But I just love the fact that they keep on finding these gems, whether they launch in Game Pass day and date or they wind up coming to the platform, like stuff that we wouldn't have normally seen in the past. Like Wu Shang is that game that 5 years ago I don't think we would have gotten on our platform. Like, what was the other one? The Naraka Blade or something.
Oh,
like
Blade
that.
Point Naraka,
yeah. Like, there's just so many ones that would have skipped years ago, and it's great to see that these games are coming to the platform. But overall, like I said, that show was an 8.5. The lowest point for me, and it's not even a low point, it's just that I'm not really into like the pirate stuff, was the Yakuza one, but it looks like it's fun. Like 3-Bit said, their games are like that dumb fun where you can get lost in it, not even playing the game, just playing the mini games instead. Like, yeah, I do the go-kart racing and the gambling, which I'm getting better at the gambling and stuff.
I don't know if that's a good thing, Buzz.
It's fun. But that's the thing. It's like just seeing that you're going to have like dual wielding like daggers and stuff like that, and being able to take on other pirate ships and whatnot. Yeah. too bad for Skull and Bones, man. It was a nice ride, I guess. But yeah, something that can actually challenge maybe what is the one from Rare right now?
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll give Sea of Thieves a run. Maybe we'll see similar often. Well, you can still do the
It'll be hilarious if it
combat and
just
stuff
has
like
that
that.
twist on it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just awesome to see just different things. Like I joked about it last night. I'm like, man, as many different Yakuza games as they come out now. When do we get Yakuza in space? Because I'm on my sci-fi kick right now. So we need Yakuza in space.
Facts.
That's it. But it was
Okay.
like I said, awesome show.
Awesome show, and I think the just between the three of us, shout out to Pong as well too. But I'm sure he would have had to share the same sentiment as he has said all week, man. Just the variety is what I love, man. That gets me so excited. Like you said, bro, is that they're just they're really doing the work. They're touching a little bit of everything. Pause, by the way, pause. No Diddy, but their hands are, you know what I mean? Like they're really working in these different areas. They're really going out getting games that would have not even seen this platform, like you said, 5 years ago. They would have completely skipped Xbox, and it's really cool to see that these developers are like, Xbox is a viable platform. Like we can really go here and thrive, and it's cool to see Game Pass thrive, be the vehicle that it is, and continue to grow. So that's always good. Now, before I forget this question, I had a question that I saw on Twitter, and I'm stealing this question. I don't remember who it is, so shout out to you for throwing it out there. So we have games like Black Myth Wukong. We got games like I think the Kazan, the Berserker first, first Berserker Kazan is coming out. We got games like Wu Chang coming out. I have a question, and I've thought about this. We ask and we want Xbox to go out and China specifically. Do you guys think the whole Souls-like genre is going to get to a point to where people are like, okay, we don't really need any more of those? Because just to be fair, it seems like that's kind of the wave right now. Like, just make a Souls-like game that's really pretty with really stylish combat, and it's a W. So I was just wondering, do you guys feel like, is that going to become a trend? Is it already a trend? Have you guys even noticed it at all, or just
like Souls-like games?
Yeah, like just the uptick. Really since I say Elden Ring popped it off. Elden Ring kind of blew the doors off the whole Souls-like genre, and everybody's been trying to replicate and find that success. You see, Black Myth Wukong sold 20 million copies in a month. And that was almost unheard of for a game like that a couple years ago, outside of Elden Ring.
But I think when Black Myth Wukong, that one was a little more forgiving. Like I think it's kind of a mix of Souls-like with action RPG kind of elements to it. I mean, there are bosses that are still kicking people's butts and stuff that, especially when the flying bosses and stuff. But I think that one.
So it's not as soulsy as like a Dark Soul, Demon Soul. Like it's a bit more.
I think it's more like Elden Ring, where you have the ability to upgrade and move to different regions and things like that. I think that's part of one of the things, one that helps it sell as well, because it's like it's breaking that mold of, like, typically Souls games don't do 20 million copies.
No, definitely not.
Souls games are like, if they get 4 million, they're doing good.
1 million? What you mean 4? She had 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Black Myth Wukong is showing that you can kind of blur that line a little bit. And I think that's where I'm all for getting more of those more action RPG-esque Souls-like type games, or a blend of those where you have all alternatives or options where you're not always having to fight that same boss in that same area, and you're not going to advance until you clear that area. Like I get it for those that are into those, but I don't want to beat my head against the wall, because then I get frustrated because I get to that boss and he kills me, and then I got to go back to the beginning of this board. And then it's like the guy before that boss now kicks my butt because I wasn't paying attention, or I'm frustrated and rushing through stuff. And now it's like, all right, now I lost whatever I dropped before, or my health is down to half instead of, 3/4 or better than what it was when I went to the boss the first time. So I get it. I get the not gratitude, but like the enjoyment of being able to accomplish that and learn the patterns, learn the moves of the boss and stuff like that. But sometimes I just want to just chop at stuff or blow up stuff or whatever, type of weaponry you have. And it's like, if I do that enough, I should at least be able to get past that boss, or maybe skip that boss and go to this other area until I level up enough or get a better weapon.
But that's why, like, I'm into Diablo, because it gives a little soulsy, games like Diablo. And I'm just like you, like, I just can't do the difficulty is the whole point of the game. Like, I can't do that for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Personally, and I know chat skill issue, right? It might just be me. I get it. I get out. You know what I'm saying? I got to put that out there. But just, I'm just like you, Fuzz. I need a little bit of variety. I'm cool with being hard. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm fine with that. But like, you got to give me something else to do too. Like, I got to be able to go grind, go run through some mobs, some dungeons, whatever, some side activities that aren't as like, that may be a bit more, I don't say less difficult, or just allow a different path through the story, something like that.
Yeah. But I'm for it if they make some of them more action RPG like, and go to that region, get those pretty games. Cause like, even with Stellar Blade, I wouldn't really consider that as Souls-like as much. I mean, yeah, there were some difficult bosses where you had to learn the patterns on, but a lot of them were easy enough where you, not saying you can just button mash your way through the entire game, but it was substantially easier than like Liza P, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm all for these different types of games. Now, at some point, there will be a little bit of tiredness of these games. Like, we've gotten tired to some extent of the old, Assassin's Creed formula. We've gotten tired of, the Far Cry open world, a billion collectibles kind of formula type of stuff. But, as long as they change it up a little bit or make something else, equally interesting about it. Like, if you look at like Ghost of Tsushima, essentially that was the Ubisoft open world format, but with a few changes. So instead of having markers on the map, you have the wind that you can follow, which was a cool concept. You have the pretty landscapes that you can, your fingers, go through the tall grass or the flowers or whatever, or you could do like direct standoffs as opposed to having to always sneak around. You could face them face to face. And if you get your timing right, you kill them in one blow, or they take half your health and now you got to fight for your life kind of thing. So just changing up things just slightly here and there, you can have that same type of formula as long as not everybody's doing the exact same thing.
I just think that like once something gets extremely popular, you know what I mean? Like, and this is not just Souls like, it happens in every genre, right? Once something pops off, because everybody thought this was gonna happen with something like a Power Word, right? Oh, like you can somebody else can do a Pokemon now. Let's now it opens up the door for 20 other companies to do it, which doesn't always happen that way. Yeah. But I am kind of seeing that with the Souls like, and a lot of the games coming out of China are that template, that Souls like template. So I'm just kind of wondering if they've all kind of, if that's just going to continue, because that's kind of a lot of what we're getting. But 3-Bit, just I don't know, you want to chime in on this, brother?
Yeah, for sure. I think the Souls like genre, it's interesting because I think everyone's putting these developers are putting their twist on the Souls games. Like we have like Lies of P, we had Neo, we've had even Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor have like Souls like elements, and then we had Wolong, just a lot. Even Mortal Shell was kind of like a Souls like game, and I could see how some people feel like it's getting kind of saturated. It's not always for me, but the thing about Souls-like games is the progression is you learning from like dying. So that's it's not for everybody. Like I can see how it's for me. I'm very stubborn, where I'm just like you know what, I'm gonna beat this guy, but to me it's always just like how the combat feels, and a lot of Souls-like games kind of takes a not a backseat on the combat, but it never feels like as satisfying to me. Just even the way they run is kind of like stiff, but it's more so about like how you roll out the way. So it's never been like for me, but Ninja Gaiden was one. It's not really a Souls-like game, but maybe it was the inspiration for some of these other games because that game was difficult as heck, and you did learn a lot from death.
Definitely.
But the combat was so satisfying.
Oh, so good.
That's something I'm kind of missing from a lot of these Souls games where like I don't know, it's just not as satisfying to like hit somebody. That just might be me. I mean,
Well,
I know a lot of
I
people
think
out here love.
a lot of it too is the combat, like you said, just how a lot of it's pretty cookie cutter and it's not very good. You know what I mean? Like the combat's not very responsive. They rely a lot on like the parry system. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those Souls like mechanics rather than the actual combat. I'm gonna just rely on the mechanics. Like you gotta parry, you gotta dodge at the right time, you gotta learn the patterns. Well, I can't fucking it's not responsive either. So like, you know what I mean? If it was responsive, those, you know what I mean? Those things would be more highlighted if the actual combat itself was a bit more fluid. So I, like you said, Ninja Gaiden was a great example, and it wasn't really a Souls like, although I played the fuck out of Sigma and Black and beat both of them on every single difficulty because I'm a maniac. But
but that's the
but
example,
yeah.
right? That it's like I don't think it's the constantly dying that's the problem. Like Ninja Gaiden, you know, I died a lot, but it was satisfying because like either the nunchucks was really fun to use. You use like a spear and like you can like really time like your slashes and stuff. Like the gameplay was so fun. Like so I didn't mind how hard it was. But I think with Souls-like games, the kind of gameplay they go for is just not something that always vibes with me. I think the closest I've been to like really liking and vibing with a Souls-like game is probably Bloodborne. I don't know like what that game did for me differently, but it's something in Bloodborne where it just felt a little bit more satisfying than Elden Ring and Dark Souls and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, great question. That's not something I thought about, but yeah, I guess the it is popular, right? Like we thought about a time with like battle royales were starting to pop up like everywhere. Ubisoft tried it. It kind of started from DayZ, I guess, was maybe the originator, if I'm not mistaken. And other developers, then PUBG, and then and everyone
Fortnite,
tried
obviously.
their hand, and then Fortnite, and then eventually Call of Duty, right?
Yep.
And then all these other ones tried it. So I think it's I think these developers are like looking at it like, oh, that like we could become the next like Elden Ring. And it's kind of new, a new market, but there are a lot of Souls-like games that happened the last 4 or 5 years. So I think people are trying the genre out and seeing what they can add to like their spin of it, like Lies of P, for example. Like how can we take the Souls-like formula and then try to make our spin on it, but it ends up, I don't know, maybe this is not my favorite genre unless you do something, unless you really focus on like the combat. I feel like that's what's really missing, what I'm kind of needing from like these Souls-like games, because I don't hate Souls-like games. I think if the combat was like kind of more geared towards like something like, honestly, maybe I just want a Ninja Gaiden. Maybe I just want another Ninja Gaiden, but yeah, great question. I do feel like it is getting kind of oversaturated, just because I feel like a lot of these games are just kind of copying over each other, not innovating a lot. But you'll have the occasional Souls-like game where it's like more so inspired, like a Jedi Survivor being an example. Like that's not like a Souls game, but it took elements that some people seem to like from Souls games, and I love the Jedi games, despite how buggy that game was. I found the combat was pretty fun. It's cool to use the Force. You can like pull people towards your lightsaber, pretty satisfying. So yeah, maybe people are just picking just pieces of Souls-like games and figuring out how they can adapt it to their own genres.
No, that's a good point. It's a good point. And once again, this is not a, I don't want to, it's not a witch hunt against Souls-like games or anything like that. It's a legitimate question because I've actually thought about it with the recent wave of Souls-like games. But like you said, as long as there's going to be copycats, there's going to be developers that see the success of something like Black Myth Wukong and immediately say, we need to do that. Right? It's not even a question. We're just going to do that. We're just going to switch it up a little bit and do that. So that's going to happen. But you're still going to get innovation, and that's ultimately all we care about. Is for every 10 there might be one that actually does something a little different, and that's what we're waiting on. So and for me too, 3-bit, to be honest with you, bro, I am a huge fan of Frankenstein games, and I call games like Division, Diablo, like you just mentioned, Ninja Gaiden, you were just mentioning Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order and Survivor. They're kind of a Frankenstein of multiple different games. And I think that's kind of where I'm at, man. That's just personally the kind of gamer that I'm at. I don't mind the difficulty. That's not even a problem, like you said. Some people think that, oh, well, it's just too hard for you. No, it's not even really. That's just the first thing I say, like that pops up in my head. But it's not really. That's not a problem. I die all the time in the games I play. I die all the time. Like it's not a problem.
That's where I was like, I really have to dissect. Like, I don't think me dying over and over is the issue. I think it has to be because there's games like I played this game called the Impossible Game, where your job is literally to die over and over.
Yeah.
But it's all about the combat for me.
Yeah, same. So like if you just give me a little, more what I need, then that's kind of I'm gonna be on board all the way with that though, man. But just a couple other things piggybacking off of just the showcase, and I want to talk about this too because we've kind of touched on it here a little bit, but Xbox, man, and just their 2024, just their showcase run this year. How impressive has that been? You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody, I don't really know if there's been a show where anybody's focused on that. We've talked about it every time there's been a showcase, how they've continued this trend, but we're coming to the end of the year here, and they don't, as far as we know, they don't have another like Xbox showcase, although the VGAs are right around the corner and there definitely will be there. But just their run this year, this is probably the best run of showcases they've ever had. And I kind of want to touch on that a little bit and give them a little credit. So 3-bit, just kind of you being a part of that and kind of seeing where Xbox at. I know we talked about Tina Amini and her team. She is going to get a lion's share of the credit for that. But just the run that they've been on, bro, it's crazy.
Yeah. I really look forward to Xbox's shows. I mean, they've proven time and time again, like that they put on a great presentation. And out of the big three, they're kind of holding E3 almost alone at this point.
Yeah,
it really feels like the traditional model of Sony really pulling out a bunch of games for their presentation, then Xbox and then Nintendo would do it all on the E3 stage. Has kind of died out a little bit, and it's really good to me that Xbox is still kind of holding the industry to that standard still, because if not, I don't even think how much would Sony want to do their state of plays at this point. Because
isn't it ironic that we're even saying that though, 3-bit at this point?
It's insane. like I don't know if I would have said that in the PS4, PS3 generation where like their E3s was just riddled with crazy announcements like Killzone, and then we have Last of Us announcement, and here's a demo to Last of Us and God of War, boom boom boom. Xbox is pretty much like Infinite Umbra says in chat. It is the new E3. They pretty much can hold multiple days of content by themselves because how many studios they have at this point. Like I remember Blizzard, you got BlizzCon. Now they own Blizzard. That's literally a convention. Activision could be its own E3.
Is that COD? They got COD. What is that day for COD, or that event they have for COD now?
Oh yeah,
Call of Duty event.
Yeah,
I can't remember the specific name, but there's a COD event now. They have a full on day for Call of Duty now. Full on event.
Like, and then they owned all of these studios, so they could make like 4 different days of just their own games of just E3 content. And you can't really say that for the other big three, Nintendo and Sony. They're just Sony in particular. The last few years has really been slacking, in my opinion, for their presentations. Like I don't look forward to their presentations as much as I used to, just because they're like their state of plays. Like it used to be where like here, our first party content, you get a roadmap of what their history is kind of looking like, and now it's just like third party with a sprinkle of their first party content, and you have no idea what their future is going to be, or why you should be excited about it, or it's really unfortunate. But I think Xbox is kind of holding that mantle. I think in a way raises the bar for the other two to be able to maybe push themselves a little bit. But yeah, Xbox has been absolutely killing it. This year in particular, that's one of the best E3s.
The best
E3,
the best
the best E3. I think I rated it a 10.
Definitely.
What a great show.
Yeah.
Even like people who hate on Xbox, if you just go back and look at the responses to that show, like, okay, that was a good show. You know. So like I'm looking forward to, like, the year's not even over yet. The fact, like, this was just extra cake. You know, we already had like such a good year. They didn't even need to do this show. So the fact that they decided to do a partner show is great. A lot of people you know, just kind of want Xbox to die in a way. So just to see Xbox move and show these partnerships that they're working on, you know, we got Remedy, we got Bloober just did a exclusive for PlayStation, you know. It was on the stage with Xbox saying, hey, we're doing some games and here on Xbox stage as well.
The highest rated RPG this year was marketed by Xbox.
Yeah, that too. Which that's weird, right? Because
like what?
Xbox is terrible at marketing, right? So I didn't think they could do that. No, but they've been killing it, man. I'm excited to see what they got even for the Game Awards, because you know they're gonna do something there. And yeah,
looking at you, Sarah Bond. I remember what you said. I remember what you said.
Yeah, we didn't forget.
Yeah, we did not forget, Sarah. I love you though, but we did not forget. So hopefully we're gonna have a good show. But yeah, you know, so I guess the big thing here, 3-bit, and I just to piggyback off everything you said, I agree 1,000%, brother. Like, this has been the single best year, the most consistent year from a messaging standpoint. There's been very little confusion this year. I don't know if you've noticed that too. Once these showcases are done, nobody's like, well, what's going there? What's doing? There has been very little of that. So they've nailed the marketing, they've nailed the messaging. You know what I mean? For the most part, they've shown up. They pretty much have their biggest shows of each event this year. They had their biggest showing at TGS, but Gamescom was their biggest Gamescom. Obviously, this is probably their best E3. It should have been fucking E3. It's their best showcase. Then the developer direct was very, very good. Then you had this showcase. So they've really shown up. And like I said, Tina is a A+ higher, S tier higher, man. She's really come in and changed really the entire like culture there, as far as like emphasis on what needs to be done at these showcases, like how we actually need to present Xbox to the masses for people to get excited about the brand, because that just wasn't happening before. We're getting showcases, but people weren't really excited after the showcases. You know, there was really no talk. A lot of the talk was just, well, what's going on, and is this going to be there or there? But you've seen very little of that. And it's true that they've been so good that people are actually questioning the other two. Like, what are you guys doing? You know, Nintendo fans will never do that. We leave them out. But
you have probably they'll think it in their head, but they won't.
No, because anytime Nintendo does a showcase, they've carried the entire. I heard that Direct carried the whole summer. That's what I was told.
Oh, jeez.
I was told that the Direct carried the whole summer. That was the best showcase, bar none. And Xbox and PlayStation got to do better. So that's what I was told.
So interesting.
I leave them out. Shout out to Nintendo fans, but I leave them out. That's a whole Disney thing. That's a whole separate conversation. But yeah, they've really. It's crazy to say that too. In this year, that like as great as last year was, and we talked about last year being the best year for video games, this year has probably been better. I would argue it's been better. So Fuzz, just, you know, we're Xbox and the consistency, and you know, we've asked a lot out of them. You know, from a fan standpoint, people got to be honest. We ask a lot. We ask Xbox to do things and be a certain way that we don't ask of PlayStation. We don't ask of Nintendo. And they nailed it. They've done, and I really feel like, and this is my last point here, and I'll turn it over to you. I really feel like they've stopped listening to every fucking body. Like, just let Tina and them do their job. Like, stop trying to just be everything at all once. You know what I mean? They tried to be everything, and it's hard to do that. Just put together a solid plan and stick with the plan. Not everybody's going to be happy about everything you do, and I feel like they finally realized that with these showcases.
Yeah, we've seen the progression of like the showcases that Tina is put together and everything, and it just keeps improving each and every time. Not just the content of them, but the pacing, and they give you the separation of, if you do want to go into more of a deeper dive, they tell you where you can find that. It's either going to be a video on the channel or Xbox Wire, where you can get more of the behind the scenes from the devs and things, which is something that a lot of us has asked, where we want to see the games, and then if we see a game that catches our eye, we can know where to look to find out more about it. And that's a big improvement overall. But just how everything has been put together, like we know they got a ton of stuff on their plate as far as stuff that's in the works and soon to be released, and just being able to show it to their customers, or show it to their fans and those that are in the ecosystem in a manner that you never know what I know this sounds like Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get from these showcases, but you're excited about them because each and every time there's at least one gem or something that catches your eye. And more than likely there's multiples that catch your eye, but it's just the fact that now we look forward to January, February for that developer direct. We look forward to the showcase in June. We look forward to Gamescom. We look forward to TGS. We look forward to see what they're going to do between now and the VGAs. And we kind of expect that they'll probably do something at the VGAs. And then, I've got my fingers crossed it's that portable, but
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll see.
But outside of that, like, just as far as like messaging, as far as marketing, I'm happy. I have tons of stuff to play in Game Pass. I like how they differentiate what's coming to Game Pass, what's not. Like you said, there's no doubt, there's no miscommunication or confusion or anything like that. It's clear. Okay, this is a world premiere. This is one day and date in Game Pass. This one's not coming to Game Pass, but it's coming to the platform. This is, first time this developer is on the platform. This is a new IP and all of that. And just how they've done it. And it's been awesome to see. Like you said, 2023 was a great year for games as a whole. And Xbox showed up spectacularly for 2023, and in my opinion, I think they showed out even better this year. Sure, if you want to get technical, okay, maybe January, February was a little light on things, but there were still third parties coming to the service. You still had the show of knowing what's coming later in the year, but that having that lighter beginning of the year, I think, has been put to rest at this point, because this show also showed stuff coming in 2025, which is more than likely going to be on the earlier end of things. And we already know Avowed is there, and there's some other big third parties that are coming out early in February as well. So I think they now have everything the way that they wanted to plan out. So much so to the point where it's like they can go and say, okay, well, we could pull this from this show and bump it back to this show. We can, make this announcement at this show for, something as a shadow drop or available today or something along those lines. And it now works overall, where we're excited that, I can go and download this right now through Game Pass, or I can finally buy Animal Well on console. Yeah, it's a spectacular job for 2024, and they've already planted the seeds for 2025.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to see what comes after Avowed, and we'll hopefully get to see that, between January, February, what's geared for the rest of the year. My assumption is, fingers crossed, Fable. I know we're going to probably
3-bit holding out on us. Come on, man.
What is that? I don't even know.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully,
all of a sudden I forgot that Ghostbuster number. All of a sudden.
I think I remember.
No, but we got Clockwork Revolution possibly coming out next year, and then we got South of Midnight, which is that new IP. Just love the look of it, love the traversal, love the concept itself of where it's located and whatnot, and the storytelling involved. That like 2025 is going to be an awesome year, but if they keep doing what they're doing from like this year into next, I think we'll be like, oh, 2024, that seemed great, but did you check out 2025? It's going to,
Yeah.
I think they're in the process of like, hold my beer. Let's see what we can outdo the previous year kind of stuff. And that,
Yeah.
I'm all for it and can't wait to see what next year is like. But I'm already happy as you know, the saying goes, pig and shit kind of deal with what
Definitely.
we've gotten so far. I got my flight sim coming out not too far from now. We got Indiana Jones coming out. I'm gonna get to play my Call of Duty campaign here soon. I'm still playing the expansion for, you know, Starfield. I'm waiting for a sale, or maybe I'll just pick it up on the holidays. I probably should just check CD keys for the expansion for Diablo. It's like I don't want to get into Diablo because I'm gonna fall into it, and then that's all I'm gonna be playing.
Yeah, I've already fell into it, brother. I'm neck deep in it. You been playing it 3-bit too?
A little bit.
Okay, all right.
No, but it's just awesome seeing how Xbox has a little bit of everything for everybody. And like you said, they stopped listening to the you know, all of the different voices, pulling them in all these different directions. And I think they found their niche right now as far as how to show the games, show the fans what's coming up, the roadmap. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get slanderous right now. I love the fact that we have a roadmap. And yeah, I have that other piece of hardware in my room right now that, you know, is collecting dust, except for when I play Gran Turismo on it. But it's like, it would be nice if we had a roadmap beyond Ghost of Yotei. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for that game. And I don't care if it's a female protagonist. That doesn't bother me. I just like the fact that it's going to be a beautiful looking game set in a little bit later Japan. And we'll get to slice people's arms off, and hopefully the NPCs do similar reactions where they fall over and stumble and try to run away from me, kind of thing. But we'll see how it works out. But I'm looking forward to that. But what else? Like, is Cory Barlog working on this rumored sci-fi game? Is there a Last of Us 3 in the works? What are they doing as far as the Marvel licenses beyond, you know, Wolverine? And are we going to get the DLC as a standalone game now when it comes to Venom and stuff like that? Like, it would be nice if they let us know, like, so I know what to get excited about and set my money aside for. Because if not, I'm just going to continue making my purchases on the other platform and not even worry about it. It'd be like, yeah, I'll still play GT7. But if you're not going to take the time to respect that I gave money to get that piece of hardware and tell me what you're going to put out on it, then I don't need to waste my time waiting for you. Pure and simple. But, you know, you got people that are still going to be Team Blue until, I guess, the end of the time kind of thing. But
And that
I just love the fact that, yeah, I just I just love the fact that we have a roadmap and know what to look forward to. And there's a ton of stuff to look forward to. Third party, you know, partnered first party or second party type deals, and all of the first party studios that they have and multiple teams working on stuff. Yeah, you can't beat it. And 2025, I think, is going to be, I won't say the word more of the same because that usually implies that it's a bad thing, but if they do more of the same next year, I'll be just as happy next year as well.
Same.
Just different, same feeling, different games, and you know, it'll be well worth it. So
Facts. So looks like we got Pong back in there. What's up, brother? You made it back.
Yo, listen, I love Spectrum. Love Spectrum, man. It's just freaking great. It's beautiful. I haven't had that happen in a long ass time.
It's been a while.
I had to get on the phone.
What?
Oh yeah. Because and then they were trying to tell me, oh, bro, you know how this shit goes, right? They're trying to tell me it's on my end, and I'm like, no, it's not. And then he starts going with the real basic shit. I'm like, dude. I'm like, listen, I know what components you're talking about. I've already done all of that multiple times. Please keep resending the signal through. But I said, no, but I said, give me a break. I said, this is not, I said, what you're asking me to do has already been done. He's like, but it's probably your port on your router or your modem. And I'm like, no, it's not, sir. It's not. I'm like, it's not getting any signal. You got to send. Anyways. So finally got it back up and running. It finally clicked. So
Good.
Ghost after your phone.
I know, right? The ghosts work for Spectrum, ironically.
It was because I doubted the ghosts. So
That's what it was.
It sent them to my house.
Well, now you have to make sacrifices before each podcast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
either
sorry,
way,
everybody.
you're good. You came in at the perfect time because we were just talking about the run Xbox has been on, just with the showcases in 2024. How they've been so good that there's been legitimately very little discourse after the showcases, as far as things going places and just confusion. They seem to catch their stride. Now, obviously, there's going to be things that people don't like. You can't please everybody, but they've leaned into that. It feels like, and that's okay because you can't please everybody. Right? That's not possible. So, I don't know if you want to piggyback off of that, Pong, just the run they've been on in 2024. Tina Amini and her team from the Developer Direct early this year all the way through the showcase that just took place this Thursday.
Well, I mean, I think the only other thing I can do at this point is send Tina Amini, a dozen roses. I don't know because I've given her all the flowers I possibly can.
Fact. Yeah.
Because again, I've said all along that she's one of the best hires that they've ever had, and it's shown now because now she's in her bag. Now they have this content where they need to have these showcases constantly. And guess who's a master at it? And she's hired obviously the right people underneath her and got a group together, and they're doing wonders for this marketing and for making sure that games are getting highlighted and making sure that the diversity of this ecosystem is constantly highlighted in every single showcase possible, from small games to big games to first party to third party, and everything in between. They continuously do the right thing. And like you said, there's not a whole lot of discourse around it because there can't be, because each show has its place. They've gotten very good at setting expectations. And normally expectations are now set at a really good spot, and most of the time they are coming out with something above those expectations. They are throwing in a little secret sauce into each show, and this last partner preview is no different. Now I'm the guy who comes out of everything with glass half full. So I look at these things no matter what. That's why I can watch Nintendo showcases and so many showcases, even though I don't own their systems, and still come away feeling good as a gamer. So I'm a little different. This partner preview was the first time in an Xbox show in a long time where this show wasn't for me in a lot of ways. Like these are not my games. And the couple of games in here that are my games, I've already seen them multiple times, right? So, but I still gave this an 8.25 easy because of just the pacing. Again, as always, just stellar how it's all set up where they round up or they round off kind of after every 3 or 4 games, they give you a roundup and say, hey, this is what we just showed you and coming next. Like it's just expertly done, but the diversity was here. Again, from the big games to the small games were here. And like I said, they come with extra sauce. Well, the extra sauce this time was what? 4 games we had no idea. 5 games we had no idea about.
The Remedy was icing on the cake at the end. Yeah.
Right. Remedy was cool. Again, not anything I'm going to be excited to play, but it's fine. It's cool. Again, Remedy's trying something new. You know how I feel about devs going outside their norm and extending their wings a little bit, trying to see what they can do. This is a really big break from what they do. So loved it. I just really thought the show hit well, even though it wasn't necessarily for me. But there was a lot of cool new stuff to start off again, right after Alan Wake 2. And I said this on Thursday night with Mav, I think. This felt like an October show. Like the horror, right? The horror, the dark atmosphere. Not every game was like that, but they had such a nice lineup of that. It felt perfect for the October feels, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody's thinking about that stuff.
I did catch that too.
Yeah,
and you know what? Tina kind of highlighted that. She put out that picture previous to the show, and she was standing in the fall leaves that she had on the fall colors, and that was kind of the theme that the team was even going for. And it's crazy that you felt that because that's exactly what they were going for.
Yeah, I picked that up. And again, not every game fell into that
Yeah.
per se, but there was just the overarching atmosphere of that type of experience. So again, right after starting out with Alan Wake 2 DLC, but right after that, you get a surprise game from Bloober. Who the hell thought Bloober was going to be here after they just launched Silent Hill 2? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody thought
Had
Bloober
no
was
idea.
going to be here.
No
right?
idea.
All of a sudden, Bloober pops up on the screen, and I was, watching Mavs co-stream as much as possible at work, but also Bloober popped up on the screen. I'm like, Bloober? What the hell is this? What are they doing here?
The Medium 2.
Yeah, right. I had no idea, right? But it's a
Yeah.
new IP, right?
Yeah.
And this is coming off of how better could it get coming off the heels of the rave reviews for Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everybody's opinion of Bloober has changed. Again,
That's what
I'll
I'm
let
saying,
you-
man.
I'll let you all. Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear all this. I let
Yeah,
you
the
all
receipts
know.
is crazy, man.
I'll let you all know again. I'll remind you all that I've been saying that Bloober gets too much hate. That Bloober
Yeah.
is an upcoming team that they've gotten better and better each game. And I was just waiting for this big leap. I was shocked by the leap they took with Silent Hill 2, especially after the early previews. But now that they did that, how much better could you get coming off of that to announce your next game? And people are kind of liking you now. And all of a
Perfect
sudden, you've got
timing,
this
bro.
brand new IP, right? That's got Bioshock feels, but really leaning into horror. You guys are really getting good at that atmospheric type game where it's like, holy shit, people are kind of feeling pressured in your game, and everything's kind of crowding in on you. That game showed off exactly like that here with this new IP, Chronos, the New Dawn. So I thought that was great. It just an example. Then we get
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Did the ghost come back?
I only sent them one time.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. I'm sorry for whoever's gonna pick up the phone at Spectrum. I feel bad for you. I'm sorry ahead of time. Whoever's answering that customer service call, I'm sorry. I apologize on Pong's behalf.
You'd be like, sir, did you cut your router off and on?
Pong is
I
gonna
wanna start your
destroy
manager. Just
whoever picks that phone up.
Oh,
we're gonna have to skip to step 22. Let's go.
Yeah, Pong is not having it, bro.
Trying to
Holy
get
crap.
on and off.
Well, he's still here, or at least he's still here but he's probably
It's
not
an
actually
illusion.
here. It's just a delay, yeah. But man, yeah, but no, Pong. Just to piggyback off of Pong saying, yeah, it's essentially the showcase was just another highlight of what we all talked about. 3-Bit and Fuzz, just them continuing this idea that and I want to throw this at you, 3-Bit specifically. The idea that they know who they are now. They're not because it. For a long time, the Xbox had a lot of great things. The Game Pass has been great. They've been had first party games. They've been had talent. They've always had that, but it always felt like not all of it lined up with each other. Like it was just the head didn't know what the tail was doing. It felt disjointed a lot of times. Everything seems like they're in line. They know who they are. They understand the kind of position that they're in. They understand that they're not going to get favorable looks a lot of times from the media, but that's okay. Everything's been so goddamn good. The media's had to acknowledge it.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen they've had time to like really bolster in certain studios and like also like you think about like what the best multiplayer games is out of the big three, right? Nintendo and PlayStation. Sony's still figuring out how to do a live service game. I mean, they canceled like how many at this point, and Xbox has kind of been doing it from the beginning, like with like Halo and Gears of War, and then like Sea of Thieves, and then really just learning from a lot of their studios to the point where we're at now, where they finally have all of the studios in place. They have they have so many studios and games, they can kind of just figure out what their roadmap should be and start to move things, and that's beneficial for them. But I mean, I remember there was a time where they only had Halo, Gears, Forza, right?
Yep.
And now they have a lot more outside of that. So
Yeah.
I think in the future, Xbox is just going to get stronger in that department. They are going to face the media. That's just just a thing. A lot of the media is pro Sony, so even when they are doing right, I remember that interview with Phil Spencer where he was kind of saying like, yeah, we could make a successful game, but it's still in a way he was saying
He
like,
got
yeah,
destroyed for that, by the way.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the reception to Starfield. I feel like you could not like that game, but to kind of deny the quality that's in it, I still don't. I still
They
can't
treated
vibe
that
with
DLC like it was Gollum. That's all you need to know. They gave the DLC a 5. 5 means the game is broken. Like the game's busted. You can't play it.
And
Like that's what that.
No,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, on other shows, I've talked about like this thing with the gaming media where something they've lost over time was when in their review process, putting like their personality of what they think a game should be rather than review for a game for what it is. And we've seen that so many different times, like Hogwarts, for example, not refusing to cover the game because you don't like the author, or with Starfield in particular for like saying like, hey, it's not No Man's Sky. I was expecting things from No Man's Sky. Like, what? Like, why does this game feel like a Bethesda game? I'm like, you're punishing a Bethesda game for being a Bethesda game? Like, is that where we're at now? Where you start to punish games for what you like? Oh, it's not what I wanted it to be. I'm like, well,
that's
you're
crazy.
Not the developer that I know of. Like IGN, you're not developing the game. This is not your vision. So we're just in a weird spot right now where you're not really judging a game off of its quality anymore in a lot of these game reviews.
And even still, you're facing double the pressure. Sorry to cut you off, 3-bit, but not just that. You have this overlying blanket of now people are criticizing the way your characters look. And because one's a female and not a male, or vice versa, like now you have to deal with that on top of what you were just talking about.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And unfortunately, the people who are not in the media, who are not in the gaming space, they don't care about a lot of this stuff. They're just playing the game. But unfortunately, it can ripple to the mainstream media of people who are playing the game, and it is on their mind. I remember this one guy did this sort of review analysis. They did like a study. It might have been Xbox doing the study. I can't remember which company did the study, but basically what the study is they let a couple people play a game and they gave them negative feedback on the game before they played it. It was like a group test study. And then they did another study where they gave people like high praise of the game and then let them play it. And then just then they basically compared the two once they finished the game and gave their assessments after. And it's always like when you're going into a game with this pre-knowledge of what you think you should expect, most of the time they overly like looked for more things that are negative, right? And that was unfortunate. But something I see within the gaming media a lot is, I expect this and I'm not getting this. It has nothing to do with the gaming, like the actual game's quality. Like they're not judging the graphics are this good, the sound quality is this good, the multiplayer is this good. We've seen that with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. You mean to tell me Modern Warfare 3 is on the same level as a Gollum, in terms of how you're reviewing the game?
Yeah.
Like it's not even comparable. You have a AAA gaming studio, and it's hard to take a review like a Modern Warfare 3 and then you compare that to like a Gollum, and the review scores are pretty similar. And that makes no sense. It'll never make sense
as a gamer. And if I didn't know, I would be extremely confused. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't. It'd be tough for me to make a decision about which game actually was not a good game. You know what I mean? Because it just, like you said, that if you look at them just from the surface level, it's scored the same. That means the games are roughly equal, right? As far as like the reviewers from a reviewer perspective. So it creates a lot of confusion too, because you're right. They're looking at it for this game didn't fit what I thought it was going to be versus what did the game present to me? Did I enjoy what it presented?
Right. Right. So that's my main problem with me. It's a little sidetracking, but in terms of what the Xbox is going to do in the future, I think they know that the media is going to punish them a little bit harder than other game studios. I feel like they know that. But fortunately, they have a lot of good studios under their belt that can maybe overcome those messaging and just make such a good game that people want to play it regardless. I mean, you look at the top most played games on Sony, most of those games are Xbox games.
Yeah.
You're not going to see any article about that or anything. They just need to keep almost keep being successful, regardless of what everyone else is saying, and they're just going to be that Trojan horse for a while.
Gotta lean into it, man.
Games.
If that's your plan, you got to lean into your plan.
Yep.
So and it's
what we're gonna do.
Yeah, and like I said, my big thing, and like I said, that's just the biggest thing I've noticed, and it's crazy how when you stop trying to pander to everybody, sometimes that helps with the discourse. Because you're no longer feeding into all the narratives, right? Because for a long time, listen, I want something for Xbox. You want something different for Xbox. Fuzz wants something different for Xbox. Like, it's hard for people to come together and have, especially as large as, the Xbox community is, for everybody to come together and have, one idea what we want this brand to be. So they've literally stopped doing that. They've leaned into your plan. I'm okay with that. Everybody's not going to be happy about certain games being on certain platforms. Everybody's not going to be happy about certain games not being in Game Pass or whatever the case may be. That is fucking okay. Like, lean into your plan, do all the other, if you're going to do it good. You know what I mean? Do all the other shit good, and that's okay. And they've really taken that stance, especially with the showcases, because that's the biggest issue that people have had, at least if you're a real Xbox fan, and you can be honest with yourself. That's one of the biggest shortcomings that the brands had. It's always been, how they present themselves, and it's unfortunately a lot of times, they take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. But even in the cases that they've done that still even this year, but they've learned from those things, right? And you've seen the development and the growth in the showcases and the way they present their ideas and their games. So I just really enjoy it, bro. I'm really excited for the future. 25 is looking crazy already. 3-bit and Fuzz, it looks insane, really, for everybody. I know we talked about PlayStation not having much of a roadmap, but just gaming overall, there's a lot to play right now, right?
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed.
All right, like,
overwhelmed is like an understatement, but it's a good problem to have. I mean, backlogs. I still try to tackle at least one of the games in my backlog, especially if it's one that's leaving Game Pass soon. Like I played Scorn, hours before it left, kind of thing, to get my 1,000 gamer score out of it, and enjoyed it. And it's like, that's not even like the tip of the backlog list, all while I'm still trying to play the stuff that's coming in next week or just came in this week or the week before. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's crazy good in a way. So I'm happy.
1,000% here. So yeah, man, I just so many good things going on in gaming right now. And I just want to, somebody mentioned something in chat about disagreeing. I know Poison. I wasn't saying, I was basically saying that the 5 is basically treated like a 1, because I know the scale goes to 1 to 10, but that's not how the reviews go. 5 is a 1 nowadays, basically, right? That's basically how it's viewed. It gets treated the same way. Something comes out, it's a 5 or below, it's unplayable. It's basically treated anything 1 through 5 is the same. As far as the way at least it's been presented to me. I don't know about you, Fuzz, and 3-bit. You guys look at it the same way?
Yeah. I mean, the media, 5 is like unplayable to
like
I mean, they try to make a 7 seem like that's a
right.
So that's
a good game that may not hit on all cylinders, but it's at least good. But the way they gave it to Starfield, it's like no, it's a 7 because it didn't meet our expectations. Kind of like what 3-bit was saying. It's like they judge a game on what they wanted it to be as opposed to what it actually is. Like, look at what is that? The Suicide Squad meets the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Gotham kind of got it, but it was more so Suicide Squad because it's like they wanted that to be more like Gotham than what it was actually. And the same thing goes with like Far Cry 6. It's like, not another Far Cry game. Well, God damn, it's got Far Cry in the title. What are you talking about?
It's
So-
like if you I see so many people who hate the games that they review, like they hate racing games, reviewing racing games. I'm like, bro, like what?
Yeah.
You know,
Ain't that
I'm
like the
bro.
dude that reviewed Starfield or something? Or didn't he mention? No, maybe that wasn't the dude.
Well, the guy that reviewed Starfield, he had a thing against Bethesda being.
That's what it
owned by
was.
Xbox.
Yeah, that's what
And
it
he was like, it's. He didn't exactly say that they're going to pay for that, or in the future their games won't be received as well, and that'll be something that they'll have to deal with. It's like, are you really that mad and petty that because they're owned by Xbox? Oh, let me apply this 2-point deficit for the Xbox tax or something.
They're starting at -2 for the review. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like the way ACG does his reviews. It's like no numbers. It's like, play it, buy it, rent it, or wait for a sale kind of thing. I think that's where we need to take it. It's like,
That's a great way of looking at
Yeah.
it.
I don't even mind the scale, but like I know Poison just mentioned it, cut this shit in half. Let's just do 1 through 5. We don't need 10. 1 through 5. Let's just cut it in half and just keep it. But yeah, like it's just the way the media is skewed, like what a good game actually is, and that's my issue, right? There's this mainstream this mainstream idea of what a good game is or should be. And I don't like that, and it seemed to loosen up a little bit because we're getting games now that are just so good and so innovative, and they're different, right? And you kind of have to acknowledge that, and I love that. That's the cool thing about video games is that at the end of the day, the game speaks for itself. No matter how you feel, the game speaks for itself. So we're getting the variety now, and people aren't just saying, "Oh, well, this one kind of game is just," because for a while there, it was just a third-person narrative action adventure. That was the game that was going to get you the high scores and was going to get you the 90 metas and all that kind of stuff. That seemed to not be the case, at least recently. I don't know about you guys, but
the only one where it still bothers me even to this day was the 10s that Jedi Fallen Order got. Not is it Survivor. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Fallen Order was fine.
Yeah.
Survivor was the one I had a problem with because I'm probably going to catch heat from these reviewers or the cabal or whatever you refer to them as, but it's like they took the word of EA, a company that can't get their stuff right half the time. And it's like, oh, there's a day one patch, they'll fix it. Well, then hold your review until that day one patch. Review, like that's a time where you should review what's in front of you for what it is. If it's busted, review it as it being busted and then say, we'll revisit it later when they fix this shit. But otherwise, don't give something a 10 where you put it in performance mode and the guy looks like he was being teleported to the Enterprise or
falling through the floor.
Yeah, he falls through the floor, or you swing at.
It went from Star Wars to Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. They gave it 10s, and I'm playing the thing, and I'm mad as hell because I'm like, I gave EA my money, and they lied about this day one patch working. Maybe I should have bought it on PC. I don't know, but
you were pissed about that. I remember the DMs. You were hot.
I hate playing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to finish this game. I'm not waiting for it, and I'll never buy another EA game. And I've kind of kept to it, but it's like, yeah, that's what really burns me up. It's like they want to hate on a game that it wasn't what they wanted it to be, but them being a Star Wars fan, oh well, this game gets a 10 and it's busted. No, be fair across the board. If it's busted, state that in your review. If it wasn't busted, I would give it a 10. But as it stands, it's now a 7. Hopefully, EA fixes it by the time you get to play it. That's how I would review it. But that's me. But
that's how it should be. Like, right? Like reviews are supposed to inform you possibly buying the game, so it should be reflective of not. It should be reflective of what is currently in the game. So with Jedi Survivor, a lot of the review sites just opted out of the game's performance or bugs in the hope that EA would fix it. Like, you're going to trust EA to fix it? and you're just gonna just like, oh, well, it plays terrible right now, but just a rush out a review. Like, how many times have we seen this happen where a review site will just rush out a review? I mean, they did for Starfield. I really can't see me beating the DLC in 8 hours. Just me playing it right now. There's way too much to do, or I can't see myself beating that in 8 hours. Just to rush, but that's just me. But honestly, all these review sites where they are just not giving us honest review sites. I kind of with Fuzzy there with like ACG, where just like kind of maybe that is a problem with the game review score. A lot of people use it right now as like my game versus your game anyways. Like, look, my Xbox game got 80 and your PlayStation got 90, so my whole thing is like ACG. I think I like the way he does it because it kind of forces you to look at the substance of the review rather than the score. That's probably why I vibe with ACG, and I also look at you guys, everybody in the chat and everybody in our podcasting community. Like, what did you genuinely think about the game? Because you guys, I could trust you guys to actually play it and not just be like, oh, I don't want to play Starfield because it's not No Man's Sky. That's like, I will never value those types of opinions because it doesn't really resonate with me. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that changes at some point. There are some good peeps out here who are trying. Unfortunately, IGN score
just so much IGN, weight,
but there's a couple
carries so much weight.
Unfortunately. So hopefully
that's changing though, like you said. That's shifting because now, YouTubers and content creators are now kind of like the new media essentially, right? So you're getting more variety. It's not just going to the big magazines, the big publications, the games radars and the big new websites and the Wall Street journals and shit, stuff like that. Now you have like legit people that you can go check their credentials. I can go look at all the videos you made, all the walkthroughs you made, and see you legitimately play through these games. So like these are the kind of people that are getting their hands on these games.
I've seen sorry,
no, you're good. Go ahead.
I remember so many people saying like, look, an Xbox site reviewed Starfield DLC and they gave it like a 5, and it was like, oh, look how terrible it was. IGN's is so easy to go after just because they have so many examples. And it was like, oh, it's the Xbox site. See, they don't like Starfield, and then you look at who owns it, and it was just it's IGN. It was hilarious to me, but that's all good.
That's freaking hilarious, man. But no, I just think that the over just to kind of wrap things up and put a button on everything. Shout out Psycho coming in late off the long shift. Appreciate you, brother, coming through. That FSP love in the chat for sure. But yeah, like just to wrap it up, man. Like I just think that what you've highlighted, what Fuzz has highlighted, Pong in a limited time, he was here, able to highlight that this has been a good fucking year for Xbox, bro. And I think that we just need to acknowledge that. I think it's okay to talk about Xbox in this way. Like, I think it needs to happen more often when the Xbox is having a good year, because we damn sure do it when they're not doing when we feel like they're not doing the right thing. We damn sure go out of our way to let it be known. So I think that when they are on a good run and they're doing things that and just the company looks like it's humming along, I think that it's cool to highlight those kind of things. So I'm glad that we can have these healthy conversations. But I think we'll go ahead and wrap up the show on that note, man. It was a phenomenal show despite the ghost of Spectrum. I think he has a name now. At least we know where he works now. We got some new information for you to add to your case.
Found out.
we know where he has we know where his employment's at, so we may be able to narrow it down, maybe get a name or something for you, 3-bit.
Yeah, we could get some of that Ghostbuster what is the thing called, like the fuse thing that they use?
What the trap that they use or whatever the test use?
Something Ecto.
Yeah, it's something. I don't remember the specific name.
I can't remember, but I'll have to send you a thing.
Yeah. No, but we're just gonna wrap it up on that note, man. It's been a phenomenal show. Chat, you guys are fucking amazing. I appreciate all you guys coming through, hanging out with us. You guys are awesome. And once again, everybody's information is in the description below. Please, go do us all a favor. Follow us, everybody. Our guests for sure. 3-Bit. We want to start there. I appreciate you, 3-Bit, for coming out, bro. You can't be here often. You work a lot. You got a lot of things going on. Congratulations, like I said, on the marriage and the new home, everything you guys got going, all the positive stuff. Your career's going in the right direction, bro. I'm super proud of everything that you do. Always try and show my support, retweet things like that. But you're awesome, bro, and one of my favorite people to have on here. But let everybody know where they can find you.
No, I appreciate that, man. And yeah, I absolutely love being on this show when I can. And yeah, life is definitely kicking my butt and being busy, but I always try to show up for these shows. And you're killing it. You're one of, there's a few like pillars in this community that I always talk about. Like these people are genuine people. They're not being like, oh, there's no games right now on Xbox talks and all this. Like it's like people you could kind of rely on, right? Like you're like,
I appreciate that. You don't even understand how long that goes for me. What that means to me, that you saying that reliable. That's crazy. I love that though. I appreciate it.
It's getting rarer. A lot of people in the communities, it can go either way. So, but no, I appreciate you for inviting me on. Keep trying. I know I can't always make it, but always extend the invite, and I would love to be on.
Appreciate
you guys can find me on Twitter at i3bit. I'm doing a show tomorrow with Fuzzy with the Pixelated Echoes. So if you guys are interested in us talking about this and what we've been playing and all this stuff that we probably like extended thoughts of what we talked about here, just go ahead and check that out in terms of what I'm working on and stuff.
If you want to shoot the link tomorrow, if I'm not busy, I'll jump in, man.
Oh heck yeah. We'll do Shop Podcast Part 2.
Yeah, we can do it, man. If I'm not busy, just send the link and I'll let you know. But if I'm pretty sure my day is fairly free tomorrow.
Heck yeah. So let's do it. So that will be at 8:30 tomorrow. So you guys could drop in for that. Other than that, a lot of the stuff I'm working on, hopefully I could talk about soon. A lot of it is just cool stuff. A lot of cool commercial stuff I've been working on. I did move away from the gaming industry, but there is something possibly popping up that I could talk about that is finally going to be shown soon. That's all I can say. But other than that, it's been a great show. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Appreciate it, man. And you guys do me a favor. Go check out 3-Bit, Pixelated Echoes. All of that information is down in the description. The links are down there. His Twitter handle's down there. All that good stuff. So
again, I did send that to Pong. Sorry, Pong. I didn't mean the ghost to be that strong. That's all.
Yeah, man. We apologize for that, Pong.
Yeah.
We gonna get it straight. We're gonna call Spectrum and figure out, what this guy's name is. All right. We're gonna figure out what's going on with that. But you guys go check out 3-Bit, check out Pixelated Echoes. I'll probably be there tomorrow. There's like a 90% chance I will. So check us out there. What's up, Dread? Shout out. You got to watch the replay, Dread, but appreciate you coming through, brother. But yeah, go check out 3-Bit. And I, like I said, 3-Bit, I appreciate you, man. You're one of my favorite people always to get on. And you're right, bro. Like there's a certain type of gamer that I just vibe with, and you fit the mold. You know what I mean? So I just enjoy you being here and just the intelligence and you being in the gaming industry, having that like bird's eye view kind of behind the curtain is kind of cool too. So it always adds a nice little, spin on the topics because you have some real knowledge of things and how that works. So I appreciate you being on the show, and hopefully we can get you back on sometime soon, brother.
Yeah, of course, man.
Be good. But then throw this over to my brother, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man. I appreciate you. Had another great show. Just the three amigos tonight. I mean, we had four. Shout out to Pong. Had the internet issues, but yeah. Appreciate you for us coming through. But let everybody know they can find you, G.
Oh yeah, this was an awesome show. Love having you guys, or love being here with you guys, just talking games. And we don't get to do it as often as I would like. Shout out to Pong. Hopefully the ghost over at Spectrum gets found and gets exorcised or whatever you want to call it. But man, this was an awesome show. Thanks to everybody in the chat for checking us out. Greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Truly appreciate the support. And especially for those that catch us on replay, write us a comment. Let us know what you thought, whether you agree or disagree, or you have a particular highlight from this, the partner showcase. Let us know. But for all those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere. And hope to see everybody tomorrow at Pixelated Echoes at 8:30 p.m. in the chat. Just do a search on YouTube for Pixelated Echoes. Look forward to seeing you guys there, and you'll find out all the other podcasts I'm on coming up next week. But man, this was an awesome show. Awesome time to be a gamer. And, Pong should make those T-shirts, man, about the golden age. I think this would be 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. Man, Pong would be sitting on cash right now.
But yeah, it's so awesome right now. And thanks for everybody for showing up. Hope to see you guys here tomorrow.
Facts, man. And once again, appreciate you coming through, Fuzz. And you guys can keep up with Fuzz. Like I said, all of that information is down in the description below as well. Easiest place to keep up with Fuzz is going to be Twitter. Figure out where the shows he's a part of and what he's going to be doing throughout the week. But last but not least, your boy, PTK Bland, man. It always feels good to come on and do the show. Same time, same place next week. You guys are freaking awesome and amazing, always showing up and showing out. So once again, Shop Podcast next week. Looking to get a couple guests too. And once again, I put a tweet out earlier too. You guys let me know if you guys want to see, you guys have ideas for guests that you guys might, work on this show or just want to see on the show, highlighted or featured. So, my DMs are always open. You can let me know on Twitter too if you got somebody, a content creator or just somebody that's never done a show board who wants to do one. Just hit me up, let me know, and we'll get them in here. But appreciate you guys. Like I said, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Please be safe. Have a phenomenal night. Play some games. Have fun, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, y'all.